Connect. Community. Experience. The joy of life is free. Come with me to your place of serenity, and all that love is to be happy. As the droplets of water fall to the wayside, know that joy of life is meant for you and me. Live, love, be happy. Less stress matters. Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. The next episode, the 10 worst places to live in the U.S.
Lock your doors, watch your back, and store your valuables in your trunk. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most dangerous cities in the United States. This list, we mainly based our rankings on the FBI's latest statistics on violent crimes. However, while many of these cities are at a low point in their histories, there's nowhere to go but up.
Crime is the one thing that can always go down.
Number 10, Atlanta, Georgia. Dubbed the capital of the New South, Atlanta is home to global headquarters of mega corporations like Coca-Cola, the Home Depot, and UPS, as well as the cable news network CNN. Aside from its rep as a hub for business, Atlanta is a cosmopolitan hotspot with fancy restaurants and a hip nightlife. But it isn't all rainbows and unicorns in Georgia's capital.
Life of a thug is life of putting your life in risk at all times.
It's located along several popular drug trafficking routes, which means Atlanta's violent crime rate has historically sat well above the national average.
It's not for money anymore, it's not for the gang anymore, it's just people going out, just doing what they feel like doing at the time. It's not any organization to it at all.
However, those rates did drop significantly in the first decade of the 2000s.
Barbecue should stand on his own. I feel he should be able to stand on his own without the help of the sauce. I think Yelp is good and bad. I don't judge people's food, so I know everybody has their bad times. So if I go in a restaurant and I have a bad time, I'll never go and write anything bad about it. So Yelp can be bad and Yelp can be good. That's all I can really say. It can be a gift and a curse. Mr. Charlie Parker. Before I really got my first place, he was an older guy from Miami that lived in Savannah, and we talked about barbecue. And so, Mr. Charlie Parker, he passed away right before I opened my place. So I believe that would be who I would love to eat dinner with. I love ice cream. I eat it night and day, and I'm lactose intolerant, so I love ice cream. So it would be ice cream. I'm gonna say Atlanta. Since we're in Atlanta, I'm gonna say Atlanta. I know it's not gonna pull some grudges, but Atlanta. Tofu, it took me a while to get the texture, but I mean, it's the way you season it, it's the way you prepare it. So I'm not really crazy about it, but I mean, I've eaten good and bad tofu. Campbell's Barbecue out of Rembert, South Carolina is like, I mean, that's home. Southern Soul Barbecue in St. Simon. I'm gonna name a place that I haven't been, and I just looked at the food. Big Lee's Barbecue in Ocala, Florida. When I get home, I mostly eat out. It's either Thimble House, 8 Sushi Bar, just one of the two, one of those places. When I don't see smoke, most of the time I don't go in there. And if I do go in there, it's because somebody else has told me that I believe that it's legit. But I kind of go off the smoke, the sauce on the meat. You know, I just kind of look at those things, how they cooking their food.
Number 9, Baltimore, Maryland. Maryland's largest city is rich in history, culture, the arts, and crime.
13 days into our new year, and 16 people have already been killed here in our city.
In June 2013, Baltimore saw a record 28 shootings and 10 homicides in just 5 days. In August the following year, stray bullets from violent disputes in both Baltimore and nearby Prince George's County killed 3 3-year-old children. As opposed to other violent cities that have seen a recent decline in murder rates, Baltimore saw a 7.3% hike in homicides in 2013. Plagued by drugs and poverty, Bmore figures prominently among the most crime-ridden cities in America.
But all this killing, we ain't providing nothing. Only thing we providing is message to show our youth that this world is fastly destroying itself.
One moment from the chaos in Baltimore that had people cheering for more.
Mother of the Year.
I leaped out of my chair and said, yes! I was captivated.
Captivated by a Baltimore mother reading the riot act to her 16-year-old son. To remove him from the riot. We now know her name is Toya Graham, and she's a single mom of 5 girls and a boy. Here's what she told CBS News about her brand of tough love.
That's my only son, and at the end of the day, I don't want him to be a Freddie.
Her tough discipline won muttered admiration, outright applause.
Of a mother desperately trying to keep her son from joining the rioters, and you know she saw. Yeah!
She quickly started to trend on Twitter. #BaltimoreMom. She went to pick up her son at the mall because she heard trouble was brewing there.
He said, Mom, when I seen you, my instinct was to run. You know, I'm a no-tolerant mother. He knew he was in trouble.
Left.
Here's a kid that'll take a brick and throw at a cop, but ducks when his mother comes and slap him.
Is he the perfect boy? No, he's not.
Number 8, Birmingham, Alabama.
We have breaking news now. We are getting some information on the victims from yesterday's shooting at UPS.
Described as the cradle of the civil rights movement, Birmingham is Alabama's largest metropolis, which is approximately double the national average. That high poverty rate, paired with the ever-present drug trade, has kept the crime rate up, to the point where its crime rate is one of the highest in the country, regardless of the city's size. Number 7.
A lot of people always ask me, why did you move to Birmingham? You grew up in New York. When I first moved to Birmingham, I was fresh out of college with a degree in neurobiology. I could do anything and go anywhere, and so I decided to move to the South because I've never lived there. I had the intention of going back to school to pursue a medical degree of some kind, maybe be a doctor, but that just didn't appeal to me because I was also very active in the music scene. Turns out that was way more fun than hanging out in a hospital. Welcome to A Day in the Life with Raquel Lilly. Right now, I am in a rush, as usual, trying to get to this gig uptown in Birmingham. Well, all right, let's go.
Pretty good. Rolling that body, got every man in your wish. Sipping on Coca-Cola, I'm like, so what a drug. Let me hear you say. Come on, let me hear you say. Down the street, smoking window, sipping on.
But besides all the internet stuff that I do, I play all around town with my full band.
Anywhere, Birmingham, you're beautiful.
Eventually, all that passion, fortunately, turned into a full-time job for me. From my music recordings and the CDs and posters that I send out, everything that I do is completely DIY.
Number 7. Memphis, Tennessee. Home of the blues, barbecue, and Graceland, Memphis also has a huge criminal culture.
Crazy how you could just see someone one day and then the next day they're gone.
With over 180 gangs in the area, including Gangster Disciples, Crips, Bloods, La Raza Nation, and MS-13, Memphis is plagued with serious gang violence.
A dubious distinction for West Tennessee tonight. More dirty cops are busted here than anywhere else in the country.
Add corruption in the police force to the mix, with an average of 20 police officers arrested yearly since 2009 on various charges including DUI, extortion, drug trafficking, sexual solicitation, and more. And it's not surprising that Memphis figures on the FBI's most dangerous cities list year after year.
He's on video counting cash, a bribe, investigators say.
From the moment your feet touch the cobblestones of world-famous Beale Street, you know this place is special. You've entered a musical mecca unlike any other. The blues were born here, and live entertainment thrives here, inside and out. Clubs, restaurants, and shops line the street, offering an authentic look at Memphis, its history, and its music.
Number 6. Chicago, Illinois.
Cook County Sheriff Sergeant pumping gas. Suddenly, 3 men in hoodies approach him. 1 man displays a gun.
Chicago has battled a gun violence problem for years. The 2000s saw staggering murder rates, often coming close to or surpassing 500 per year. 2013, for example, started off with a handful of murders on New Year's Day alone. By the end of the week, the number had already reached double digits.
This is a six-month-old child who haven't had the chance nor the opportunity to live.
It's supposed to be Independence Day, but it's not independence for parents who lost their children to gun violence or any other citizen in the city of Chicago who lost their life to gun violence this weekend.
Some of the stories we're hearing right now and that are going national are shocking the rest of the country, but Chicago's been dealing with this violence for quite a while.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see a blue for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed days and the dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Number 5. Camden, New Jersey.
The skyline of Philadelphia is almost painful to look at.
Home to Campbell's Soup headquarters and the first drive-in movie. Camden was once a thriving town that boasted businesses that employed thousands. Fast forward 60 years to a crime-infested ghost town where poverty reigns. Camden's crime problem has been deteriorating for several decades. Labeled a food desert by the U.S.A, Camden became a wasteland of abandoned homes with no money to tear them down. Chaos took over and the crime rate soared.
Tonight we begin an ongoing series of reports which will air occasionally over the next year on a single topic. We'll be covering poverty in America. A place most people avoid or take pains to drive by, a place I first covered 25 years ago. And as we found upon our return there, the story of Camden cannot be avoided anymore.
I always think of Camden as the best visual aid in America, to see what has gone wrong and what is going wrong.
Well, it's staggering poverty surrounded by staggering wealth. Last year, there was a shooting here on average every 33 hours. Per capita, it's the highest crime rate in the country, the highest murder rate in the country, in the poorest city in the country.
Shopping center mecca of South Jersey.
Look at this. In Camden, Campbell's Soup started here. The booming shipyard built the great vessels Kitty Hawk and Indianapolis for the war effort overseas. If I landed from Mars, how do you describe Camden to people?
I guess the one word is challenge. You know, it's extreme poverty, it's extreme crime. I guess somebody I want you to meet.
And it was that summer nearly 2 years ago when the chief met 9-year-old George Cartagena in the hospital. He is the lifeless boy shown on surveillance video after getting caught in the crossfire in broad daylight on his way to the store, and the bullet to the head left him blind.
When I open my mouth, it goes in.
No kidding. Look at that. Did you hear gunshots first or see it?
When he started shooting, I looked at the other guy that was running, and then the other guy said, duck down and go to the corner.
What's the last thing you remember?
That my eyes were burning.
How do you not lose hope?
What keeps me going is the connection that I have with the people that live here.
In fact, the city department will become part of a new county force that will add roughly 200 officers to the ranks.
Number 4, St. Louis, Missouri.
4 people were walking here along Laclede Avenue in the Central West End when police tell me that Lester Johnson robbed them at gunpoint.
With the third highest murder rate of any major city in the country in 2011, it's no wonder St. Louis clocks in at number 4 on our list.
You know they sell dope out here. You know they shooting out here. And you got your 5-year-old son in the car, right?
Most of our shootings are drug-related.
While violent crimes have been going down in the last decade, there were still a recorded 120 murders in 2013, sending the murder rate up by 6.2% from the previous year.
Missouri State Representative T.D. Elamine has asked the governor to order the National Guard to help patrol the most dangerous North St. Louis neighborhoods.
And with the shooting of 18-year-old Michael Brown by police in the Ferguson neighborhood of St. Louis County in August 2014, and the riots and violence that followed, it will probably not be a great surprise that crime statistics in St. Louis took yet another hit.
Protesters threw Molotov cocktails and fireworks at riot police, who responded with tear gas and rubber bullets.
Every single day, some of the biggest thinkers and doers of the 21st century are making their way to one centrally located destination to discover their dreams and make their ideas take flight. Perhaps no other city in America captures the essence of discovery better than this dynamic hub of opportunity. Quickly becoming the epicenter of technology and innovation for the world's best and brightest minds. It's home to a thriving startup scene, not to mention the nearly 20 Fortune 1000 companies, giving graduates from some of the area's top universities an eternal source of unbridled optimism. It's a place where a diverse population comes alive every morning to share in the livability and accessibility one would only expect to find in a city half its size. Just as so many explorers that came before them have been doing for over 200 years. Now, think again. From parks to ballparks, museums to music venues. This is one part of the world that will never fall short on fun. It's why millions of visitors block out weeks and weekends to travel here all year long. Why the locals never stop being visitors. And the visitors feel like locals after only a couple of days. And they are coming true. For thousands of purposeful people who show up every day to make St. Louis what St. Lou is.
3. Flint, Michigan.
Begin with breaking news in Flint, where a state trooper has been shot.
The birthplace of General Motors, Flint was once home to thousands of auto manufacturing jobs. But with the decline of the U.S. auto industry, most of those jobs are now gone.
66 people were killed in Flint last year, tying a record set 2 years earlier.
Close to 40% of Flint's population lives below the poverty line, and the city has had to cut back significantly on police budgets, having a huge effect on the city's crime-fighting efforts. With just over 100,000 residents, Flint saw almost 70 murders in 2012 and over 50 the following year.
This one got lucky. Shots fired, but cops come immediately. Sometimes in Flint, they don't come for hours, not since the city laid off a quarter of its police force.
It's effectively created a war here, and it's a war zone.
The city is also especially dangerous for women, with the most disturbing attack being the rape of an 87-year-old woman in the middle of the day back in 2012.
It makes me just want to leave here. I don't want to stay here no longer because I don't want to be at the wrong place, the wrong time.
Number 2.
I grew up in Flint, Michigan. And when I tell people this, it's usually met with a response of compassion, like stuff like, "Oh, you poor dear," or "God, that must have sucked." Now more than ever even, especially, since a Flint water crisis has been going on. They hear Flint, water crisis, Flint, oh my God. I still flip off the Flint water tower every time I drive past it on I-475, every single time. You menacing lead-infested piece of... But it wasn't all, growing up in Flint, it wasn't all bad. I mean, that like to bully you and everybody else on the block, every other kid. You'd see him get caught with some cocaine and violently pushed into the back of a squad car. There would be the occasional hooker fight on the corner, and those were always a spectacle to behold. Especially when the hair started flying. Knives on each other over hopscotch, Pokemon cards were currency, ready to be traded for illicit material. My dad was beating up the drunken hobo that kept using our driveway as a toilet on a weekly basis. And of course, who could forget the ice cream man? It wasn't until much later that I learned why I'd always see his truck parked in the alley near my house, rocking back and forth like it had cheap hydraulics. It's a good thing those ice cream bars were wrapped in plastic. But I turned out okay. Right? Sure. But today, I want to share with you the absolute best part of growing up in Flint, Michigan. The one thing I look back on with the most fondness. One day, I was out playing with my friends, and I didn't get shot.
2. Oakland, California.
A break in the case of a paramedic murdered in Oakland. Police have arrested 5 teenagers, all between the ages of 14 and 16.
According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Oakland figures in the top 5 cities nationwide for gang homicides. This California city's main problems stem from poverty, the drug trade, and gang-related crime.
I live in the killing field, that's how I look at it. I ain't gotta go to Beirut to know about war, you feel me?
Found just across the bay from San Francisco, Oakland was also classified first coast to coast for violent robberies. As the city faced budget cuts, the police force shrunk significantly and was soon 1/3 the size of other cities in the state, even though it's plagued by the most crime. Number 1. Detroit, Michigan.
While we work all day, they stay at home and figure out whose house they can break in and take their stuff that they didn't work for.
Once a booming metropolis and the automotive capital of the world, Detroit has seen a steady decline since the mid-20th century.
On my way to work, I come outside, my car gone.
This morning?
This morning.
You call the police?
Yep.
They show up?
Nope.
After major industries started outsourcing their manufacturing jobs to cheaper pastures, unemployment soared. As a result, Detroit's violent crime rate hovers around 5 times the national average, and it has the highest homicide rate among big cities.
Kinnan says younger criminals are scary. In the past, bad guys might rob you and then try to get away.
The young criminals, they'll kill you, and they'll kill somebody else, and they don't care.
Add the recent bankruptcy to the mix, and it's not surprising that Detroit snagged our number 1 spot.
139 square miles, the largest city in the United States. So they can't service it all, and they don't have the tax base to do it. Anybody with any money has left town.
Do you agree with our list? What do you think are the most...
When you've been a leader your entire life, you learn how to turn one day into day one. To do it first, to be an innovator, means you may stumble, you may fall, but relentless, you will move forward. Detroiters are born moving. Our wings have a deep history. Our roads pave the way for every future highway of tomorrow. An international hub full of vitality, of Michigan strength, from the global reach of techno and Motown to the powerful rev of our engines. From style trends to technology, Detroit is the starting line of the world's imagination. We are always shaping, moving, cultivating what's next. We are small business savvy and billion-dollar business bold. A state full of 230-foot pine trees and the summer destination of the monarch butterfly. Surrounded by the beauty of Great Lakes. Detroit is always growing, always in flight. We don't wait for someone else to do it. We don't have time to stand still. Not everyone will understand our pace, but the baton was placed in our hands, so we're finishing strong. If this is home, you own the pearl. If you move here, you move the world. Who else to design the mobility of tomorrow besides the most resilient people on the planet? From custom-made bikes and shiny rims, autonomous vehicles and alternative energy. Mobility as a right in diverse cultural communities. Our land, the foundation of collective steel Michigan hands, holding up families, designing possibility, creating space. We are the solutionaries, forging our way toward the answers, a sacred historical place, fearlessly stepping up to the plate. We are infinite possibility, and our future can't wait. Detroiters have always kept this country moving. Our DNA connected to a passionate work ethic, an authenticity we earned from grandfathers and free-thinking mothers we watch with hard hat and toolbox swagger, sculpt art into dinner for our families. Born on an assembly line of artists, thinkers, educators, scientists, coaches, and philanthropists, we are Southern class and clean Cadillacs, humility and matter of fact. We are a century-old farmers market, the heart and soul of this country's future, the steady sound of design and innovation, and a whole other country is just a bridge away. Dream chasers built Detroit. This is the world city. Design here, design the world. Build here, you'll build the world. Create here, create the world. Move here, move the world.
U.S.A. Holla back.